is basically it's a form of an open prison, really, because what happens is that you end up having yourself digitized into a big, huge database. And there doesn't seem, as far as I can see, to be any way of siloing this data. All that will happen is that all your data will be known by government departments and their offshoots and any contractors they use. And I'm really worried that what happens then is that by mission creep, we end up with a situation where the powers that be can keep clamping down on people, stopping them doing what they want to do, stopping them buying things if they've already overgone their allowance, as it were, on whether it be meat, alcohol, fuel for your car, travel, number of airplane flights you take. Everything can all be monitored and can all be dealt with and stopped. Now, I'm a human, I make mistakes, I make errors, I've got wants and needs, and I want to get on with my life, and as long as I don't encroach on anyone else, then I should be allowed to get on with it. But what we're now saying is that the human race, everybody, everything you do, instantly encroaches on everybody else, so therefore you must be stopped in doing what you're doing. That's totally unhuman. It's inhuman. It's satanic, actually. I don't like it. And we've got to, really have got to put the mockers on it. Really have.
I mean, this is a global occurrence.
Yeah, it's not just the UK. In fact, when you look at it, the EU is now hardening up on its stance with ID cards, and they're looking at giving it to, in fact, they already can give an EU form of an ID system to children. And that's why Keir Starmer is now looking at 13-year-olds having the digital ID. It's coming for veterans, it's coming for company directors, and that means in the end that it'll spread out from there. It'll spread out to not just veterans on a military pension, it'll be all pensioners, whatever sort of pension you've got. And if you want to open a bank account, if you want to even enter into a shopping precinct, you know, the whole thing is just going to turn into swiping your card at every corner of the street for safety, for your safety, so we know where you are. And how long before that the grid is so controlled that you won't even have to swipe a card? You'll just walk and you'll be tracked. Yeah, whatever it might be.
Some people, but I just don't have a smartphone. But if you have networks such as 5G, you have facial recognition, you cannot opt out.
Well, no,
you don't need a device.
But the thing is, if you do opt out, the authorities will be looking for people who opt out, so they can get them to opt in forcibly. And that's another fear I have. If someone decides to go and buy a lump of land, I've got a lump of land, I'm going to put a caravan on it, I'm going to live there, there's a stream, I'm going to fish, I'm going to raise some chickens. All the authorities have to do is compulsorily buy your property. Compulsory purchase. And there's nothing you can do about it. So I do wonder where this is going. Total grid control. The trouble is the people who are putting it in place somehow think they'll be immune. But they won't be, because at the end of the day they will be captured by their very own trap.
There's a saying, there's no space on the ark. Right?
No, yeah.
Well, last thing I'll ask about is, so China has this system and they have a social credit score, but I think what they'll do here, because they speak about it in the WEF conferences, they'll have a carbon score. So you'll have carbon credits. It'll be based on that metric.
It's carbon credits. It's things like, were you nice to your neighbour credits? And did you say something nasty on social media credits? And if you haven't got those credits that say you're good on social media, you're nice to your parents, you're nice to your neighbours, if you haven't got that, you don't get social credits. Now, that means it doesn't matter how much money you've got in the bank. No social credits, no spendy money. And that is where we're at. Everyone, instead of earning money, will be trying to earn social credits. Think about that. They will be looking to social credits is the new money, because without it, you can't buy and sell anything. And I don't think people have actually realised that either in the big scheme of things. So yeah, worries me intensely, really does. And nothing I hear from Keir Starmer or this government gives me any confidence, especially when he says it's going to be mandatory to have this to get a job. That's the start. And he's only doing that as a reaction to what's going on in with the immigration system, people coming over, working on the underground economy, or even in the open economy, but with not paying taxes, not paying insurances, borrowing other people's licenses, and all this sort of thing. Because I do have to wonder how many of them do actually have a license to operate a delivery motorcycle. You know, you have to have lived here for a certain amount of time to even qualify to have one.
Do you not think that's just the excuse they're using?
Yes.
Obviously, Tony Blair tried to push this through.
Yes, it is just an excuse. Absolutely just an excuse. And it's, well, you've seen who's at the head, haven't you, here with March, David Icke. He came out with that sort of problem, reaction, solution thing. And is he right? I'm asking you, ladies and gentlemen, is he right? You know, problem, there's the problem, here's the reaction that you're making, you want something done, and here's our solution.
Blind.
ID cards, isn't it wonderful? Yeah.
What could regular people do? Because like, obviously a lot of people are not really, I don't think they're aware of the absolute treacherous dangers of having the ID card. They just see the convenience. So like, once they start hearing about it, looking into it, understanding what it is, what can regular folk do? What can people do?
Well, this is the problem, isn't it? This really is the problem. Because you're right. If you think about it, people are going to be frightened not to comply because their job's at risk, they're told, and all the rest of it. Now, if you go on to massnoncompliance.org.uk, you'll find a list of stuff about the sort of things that's going on and what you can do. But it's going to take, I'm afraid to say, this is one of these situations in history where it's going to take a bit of courage and bravery to save the country. So, yeah, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I had a message that I froze for a while, and now it's come back on again. Just keeping an eye on what's going on. It's a bit difficult here. We've got lots of people live streaming. I'm doing the best I can. If it does freeze, just please stay with us. I've got a little device in my pocket which hunts for the best signal it can, and it takes a second or two. So anyway, sorry.
Sometimes there are dead spots.
Yes, and there are dead spots.
Dead spots.
Yeah, so we might be going through a dead spot.
So there's the website.
Sorry?
There's the website.
Yeah. Yeah, so that website, you go on there and it's run by Fiona Rose Diamond, who's actually leading the parade. She's very good, isn't she? She's got a lot of energy, more than I've got, that's for sure. So go on her Twitter page. If you go on her Twitter page, you'll see a lot about this and a lot of resources about, excuse me, I'm just trying to get past the front. Oh, here we go. That's all right. Yeah, that's the front there, back to the front. We got there in the end. It only took us 10 minutes. Yeah, so there you go. That's why I'm frightened of it, and I want it stopped. I do. I really do. I don't mind having individual systems to go into individual departments in government, but this overarching idea that suddenly you can't get a job and it's mandatory, that begins to send big alarm bells.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
No problem.